A misty, primordial landscape. We see a group of early hominids, clearly not modern humans, but recognizably our ancestors. They're gathering branches, piling stones, working together with purpose. Imagine building a house without tools, without blueprints, without even knowing what a house is. Now imagine doing it nearly 2 million years ago. This isn't the opening scene of a sci-fi movie, this is our history, your history unfolding before your eyes. We tend to think of ourselves as the world's great builders. From cozy homes to soaring skyscrapers, we've shaped our environment to suit our needs. But long before the pyramids, before the first cities, even before our species walked the earth, our ancestors were already reaching for the sky, one branch at a time. To understand how we became the builders we are today, we need to dig deep, really deep into our past. Our story begins long before Homo sapiens appeared on the scene. We're traveling back approximately 1.75 million years to meet a different member of our family tree, Homo erectus. Homo erectus, meaning upright man, was one of our most successful ancestors. They lived for nearly 2 million years, spreading from Africa across Asia and Europe. But it's what they did in East Africa that has scientists rewriting the history books. Here, in Tanzania's Olduvai Gorge, a team of archaeologists made a discovery that changed everything we thought we knew about early human capabilities.
When we first uncovered the site, we couldn't believe what we were seeing. The arrangement of stones was too intentional. It took us a while to accept what was right in front of us.
What they had found were the remnants of the oldest known human-made structure in the world. A simple foundation of stones, arranged in a circular pattern, the unmistakable footprint of a primitive shelter. This wasn't just a random pile of rocks, this was architecture, this was home.
We're talking about a structure built 1,750,000 years ago. That's nearly twice as old as we previously thought humans were capable of such construction.
To put this in perspective, if the entire history of human construction were compressed into a single year, everything we've built in recorded history, from the Great Wall of China to the International Space Station, would occupy only the last 30 minutes of December 31st. So who were these prehistoric architects, and how did they change the course of human history? To answer these questions, we need to take a closer look at Homo erectus, our ancient cousin who stood up, stepped out, and built a revolution. At first glance, you might mistake them for us. Standing up to 6 feet tall with a body built for long-distance walking and running, Homo erectus was the first of our ancestors to have body proportions similar to modern humans. But look closer, and the differences become clear. A lower, sloping forehead, a more pronounced brow ridge, a chin that hasn't quite decided to exist yet. The most significant difference, however, was upstairs. Homo erectus had a brain about 2/3 the size of ours. But don't let that fool you. They were no slouches in the intelligence department. Homo erectus was the first to create the Acheulean hand axe, a Swiss army knife of the Stone Age. This multi-purpose tool was so effective it remained in use for over 1 million years. Talk about standing the test of time.
What's remarkable about Homo erectus is not just their tools, but their ability to adapt to different environments. They were the first humans to leave Africa, spreading across Asia and parts of Europe. This required problem-solving skills and social cooperation on a level we hadn't seen before in our evolutionary history.
Indeed, Homo erectus was likely the first human species to hunt large animals, cooperatively share food, and possibly even control fire. These behaviors hint at a social structure more complex than anything that came before. While they couldn't speak like we do, their vocal anatomy wasn't quite there yet. Homo erectus probably communicated through a combination of vocalizations, gestures, and facial expressions. Imagine a cross between charades and a very serious game of telephone. But don't laugh too hard. This proto-language was a crucial step towards the complex communication we enjoy today. Without it, coordinating the construction of shelters would have been nearly impossible. To answer that, we need to put ourselves in their shoes, or rather, their bare feet. Imagine you're a Homo erectus individual, living in the harsh environment of East Africa nearly 2 million years ago. You're facing predators with bigger teeth and sharper claws. You're at the mercy of scorching sun and drenching rain. You're competing with other animals for safe sleeping spots in trees or caves. What do? You do what humans have always done best. You innovate. You look at the branches and stones around you not just as objects, but as possibilities. And then, you start to build. What you're looking at might not seem impressive at first glance, a circle of stones about 12 feet in diameter. But these aren't just any stones. They're the foundation of a revolution.
When we carbon dated the site, we were stunned. 1.75 million years old. That's nearly 1 million years older than the next oldest human-made structure we've found. It's hard to overstate how significant this is.
Based on the evidence, researchers believe the structure looked something like this. A dome-shaped hut with a frame made of branches possibly covered with leaves, grass, or animal hides. If it reminds you of shelters built by some indigenous peoples today, you're not wrong. The basic principles of this type of construction have stood the test of time. But how did they build it? Remember, we're talking about a time before metal tools, before rope, before even the wheel. Here's what we think happened. First, they gathered stones to create a foundation. This wasn't just for stability. It likely helped keep out water and small predators. Next came the framework. Long, flexible branches would have been bent and interwoven to create a dome shape. Shorter branches could have been used to fill in the gaps. Finally, some kind of covering was applied. Grass, large leaves, or animal hides could have been used to provide protection from the elements.
We've actually recreated these structures using only materials and techniques available to Homo erectus. It's remarkably effective. The interior stays cooler during the day and warmer at night. It provides decent protection from rain. And most importantly, it offers security from predators.
But perhaps the most impressive aspect isn't the structure itself, but what it represents. This wasn't a solo project. Building and maintaining these shelters would have required cooperation on a scale we hadn't seen before in human evolution. And it wasn't just one hut. Evidence suggests there were multiple structures, possibly forming a small settlement. This hints at a level of social organization previously thought impossible for Homo erectus. To put this in perspective, these structures predate the pyramids by about 1.7 million years. They're older than Stonehenge by 1.75 million years. When our own species, Homo sapiens, finally arrived on the scene, Homo erectus had already been building homes for over 1 million years. Every skyscraper, every house, every human-made structure on Earth today owes a debt to these first builders. They laid the foundation, quite literally, for all of human architecture. But a house is more than just walls and a roof. It's a home, a place of safety, of family, of belonging. So what was life like for the beings who first created this concept? What was it like to live in a Homo erectus village? To answer that, we need to step into their world, to see through their eyes. And what we'll discover might just change how you think about your own home. Dawn breaks over the East African savanna. As the sun peeks over the horizon, it illuminates a scene unlike any the world had seen before. A collection of dome-shaped huts, smoke rising gently from a central fire pit. Welcome to the world's first neighborhood. But what was life really like for these prehistoric pioneers? Let's take a closer look. For Homo erectus, these simple structures revolutionized daily life. No longer at the mercy of the elements or easy prey for nocturnal predators, they could now enjoy a level of security previously unknown.
The importance of a good night's sleep can't be overstated, especially for a species constantly under threat. Better rest likely led to better health, potentially longer lifespans, and possibly even cognitive benefits.
But the benefits went far beyond just safety. These structures created a central gathering place, a home base for the group. This likely strengthened social bonds and promoted the sharing of knowledge. In fact, some researchers believe that these settlements were crucial in the development of human social structures. They may have been the birthplace of concepts we now take for granted, like the nuclear family or community leadership. Imagine the world's first neighborhood dispute. Grug, your pet hyena is keeping the whole cave up at night. Jokes aside, these settlements would have been ideal environments for passing on skills and knowledge to younger generations. The stability provided by permanent shelters meant more time for teaching and learning. The ability to store and share food more effectively would have been another game changer. This could have led to more complex social structures with different individuals taking on specialized roles within the group.
What we're looking at here is the birth of human culture as we know it. The concept of home is so fundamental to our psychology that it's hard to imagine life without it. Homo erectus was the first to create this concept.
There's even evidence that Homo erectus may have been the first to decorate their living spaces. Simple pigments found at some sites suggest they might have painted their walls, creating the world's first interior design. When we look at our lives today, it's striking how many parallels we can draw. We still gather around fires, though ours are more likely to be televisions. We still use our homes as a place to teach our young, to socialize, to find safety and comfort. As night falls on our Homo erectus village, we see families retreating to their huts, the glow of the central fire casting long shadows. It's a scene of tranquility, of community, of home. When we look at our gleaming cities, our sophisticated architecture, it's easy to feel disconnected from our ancient past. But the truth is, every time we turn the key in our front door, every time we invite friends over for dinner, every time we tuck our children into bed, we're echoing behaviors that began right here, with these simple structures nearly 2 million years ago. The remains at Olduvai Gorge are more than just stones in the dirt. They're the foundation of human civilization. But how did this revolutionary idea, the concept of home, spread and evolve over time? To answer that, we need to follow in the footsteps of Homo erectus as they ventured out of Africa, carrying with them the knowledge that would change the world forever. The story of human architecture doesn't end in East Africa. In fact, it's just beginning. Homo erectus was the first human species to leave Africa, embarking on a journey that would eventually populate much of the Old World. And they took their architectural know-how with them. As they ventured into new territories, our ancestors faced fresh challenges, different climates, new predators, unfamiliar landscapes, but they had a secret weapon, the ability to create shelter.
What's remarkable about Homo erectus is their adaptability. We find evidence of their presence in a wide range of environments, from tropical forests to cooler temperate zones. This suggests they were able to modify their shelter-building techniques to suit local conditions.
In warmer climates, we see evidence of light, airy structures designed to provide shade. In colder regions, there are signs of more substantial shelters, possibly incorporating animal hides for insulation. They didn't always build from scratch either. Homo erectus was among the first to utilize caves as dwellings, often building structures at the cave mouth to extend the living space. As Homo erectus spread, so did their architectural innovations. Each new challenge sparked new solutions, driving a slow but steady advancement in construction techniques. This knowledge was passed down through generations, refined and improved upon. It's a testament to the effectiveness of these early designs that many indigenous peoples today still use similar techniques.
We build these shelters to protect us from the elements, just as our ancestors did.
I will learn and teach my children, so they too can be safe and warm.
From the igloos of the Arctic, to the stilted houses of Southeast Asia, from the yurts of Central Asia, to the adobe structures of the American Southwest, the incredible diversity of human dwellings today all traces back to those first innovative steps taken by Homo erectus. As time passed, new human species emerged. Neanderthals, Denisovans, and eventually our own species, Homo sapiens. Each built upon the foundation laid by Homo erectus, quite literally. The ability to create effective shelter was a crucial factor in the development of agriculture and permanent settlements. After all, you can't have a village without homes. Fast forward to today, and we're still building on the legacy of Homo erectus. Our cities might look different, but the fundamental purpose remains the same, to create a safe, comfortable space that we can call home. Standing here at the site of humanity's first known structure, it's hard not to feel a sense of awe. Every house, every skyscraper, every space station module, they all owe their existence to this circle of stones. But as we marvel at how far we've come, we must also consider the future. In an age of climate change and growing populations, the challenge of creating sustainable, efficient housing is more pressing than ever. Perhaps the solution lies in looking back to move forward. The simple, environmentally harmonious designs of our ancestors might hold the key to our future homes. As we conclude our journey through the history of human shelter, one question remains. What does home mean in the 21st century, and how will it shape our future? This section explores how the concept of shelter spread and evolved as Homo erectus migrated out of Africa, setting the stage for the diversity of human dwellings we see today. It also touches on how this ancient innovation continues to influence our modern world. From towering urban apartments to cozy rural cottages, from high-tech smart homes to traditional mud huts, the concept of home in the 21st century is as diverse as humanity itself. But no matter the form it takes, the essence of home remains remarkably similar to what it was for our Homo erectus ancestors, a place of safety, of family, of belonging.
The human need for home is deeply ingrained in our psychology. It's not just about physical shelter, but about having a place in the world, a center for our lives. This concept has remained constant throughout human history.
While our methods have evolved dramatically since the days of Homo erectus, the basic principles remain the same. We still seek to create spaces that protect us from the elements, that bring us together, that reflect our identities. Today we're entering a new phase in the evolution of human dwellings. Smart homes, sustainable architecture, even plans for habitations on other planets, our concept of home continues to expand and adapt. As we look to the stars and dream of becoming a multi-planet species, we're faced with challenges not unlike those our Homo erectus ancestors encountered. How do we create shelter in hostile environments? How do we make a home so far from where our species began? The answers may lie right here, where it all started. The ingenuity, adaptability, and innovative spirit that allowed Homo erectus to create these first structures are the same qualities that will drive us forward. From this simple circle of stones, we've built wonders. We've reached heights our ancestors could never have imagined. But in every brick, every beam, every window and door, we carry their legacy. Each time a child stacks blocks to make a fort, each time we rearrange our furniture or dream of our ideal home, we're connecting with an instinct that goes back nearly 2 million years. Understanding our past helps us navigate our future. The story of human architecture is the story of human ingenuity, of our ability to shape our environment to meet our needs. It's a story that's far from over. As we face the challenges of the future, climate change, urbanization, growing populations, we would do well to remember the lessons of our earliest architects. Work with the environment, not against it. Innovate with the materials at hand, and above all, create spaces that bring people together. Standing here, in the long shadow of our ancient past, we can almost hear the echoes of those first home builders, their laughter, their struggles, their triumphs. And in the simple act of coming home at the end of a long day, we honor their legacy. We are the inheritors of a tradition as old as humanity itself, the tradition of creating a place to call our own. From a circle of stones in East Africa to the gleaming cities that now span our globe, we've come a long way. But in our hearts, we're still the same, seekers of shelter, builders of homes, the architectural apes who dared to shape our world. So the next time you walk through your front door, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey that brought us here. In the simplest sense, we're all just following in the footsteps of those first builders, still seeking what they sought, a place to call home. If you could design the perfect home for the future, combining the wisdom of our ancestors with the technology of tomorrow, what would it look like? Share your ideas in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button now and press on the video now popping on your screen. I am sure you will love it. Don't forget to leave a like on this video and see you there.